What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Scratch Agency podcast, hosted by Scratch Agents for Scratch Agents. This episode is brought to you by Virtual Intelligence, your premier partner for client-facing and back-office virtual employees. My name's Stephen Turnbull, founder of T5 Insurance Services in Clinton, New York, and I'm joined by my co-host in person for the first time on the 100th episode, Mr. Shawn Fitzgerald, the one and only Mr. Shawn Fitzgerald. I'm so nervous in person, Shawn. You're scaring me. From Sound Harbor Insurance in Long Island, New York. What do you think? 100 episodes.
Dude, it's crazy how fast time went.
Crazy.
We had a great day, great mastermind event we had, learned from a bunch of people today. It was an awesome event.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. We're going to get right into it because we have two of us, 6 special guests who are going to join. We got a camera recording, which is very weird, so I'm going to try to look at that. I guess that's what you do in this type of situation. But we're going to jump into it. We are in Washington, D.C. right now, whatever the date is, beginning of October-ish. Yep. And we're recording our 100th episode. Let's just start with a big thank you to everybody. This has been an incredible journey. We've told the story of what this podcast has been. It's super cool for us because the mastermind that we are at, all of those relationships were because of the Scratch Agency podcast, the community we built, having the guests on, getting these people in. And
for sure,
we've created this mastermind. It's been absolutely fantastic. So we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to ask our first guest to come on, Mr. Michael Cruz. He is my boss here as well because he's also our sponsor, but he is additionally the host of this year's Mastermind. Mr. Cruz, come on in, baby. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Cruz sitting in the hot seat. So you all know Mr. Cruz because we've been lucky enough to have him on both episode 29 and episode 56, which seems forever ago.
Yeah.
But we're only 2 years into this, less than 2 years. 2 years is coming up in November. Mr. Cruz, how are you?
I am doing phenomenal.
Thanks for having us in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it's been a great time, man.
It has been incredible.
I am still, this is surreal. The fact that we're doing this, you know, I feel like we met in person, and this is the first time that we're meeting in person, and it just felt like we've known each other for years. So I'm just stoked. I'm still I'm high in this energy for meeting everybody.
Mr. Cruz is a fantastic Uber driver too. I told him if the insurance thing doesn't work out, my flight got in real early, about 6:35, and I was only 25 minutes early. The poor guy was brushing his teeth to come get me, but he picked me right up. We had a fantastic breakfast. It was great. So what do you think about the Mastermind? What's the biggest takeaway?
Man, for me, it has been such a surreal experience, as I mentioned, to be able to meet so many great agents from across the country. And I feel like the biggest takeaway for me has been authenticity. You know, everybody is genuinely trying to help each other. I've never been part of anything like this before, so I didn't know what to expect. And I've gotten so much out of it. You know, emotionally, I feel, you know, supercharged. I've learned so much from everybody. Everybody had, whether you had 4 years of experience or 25 years of experience, you brought something to the table. You know, you prepared. And, you know, even when we were telling our wives, you know, we were telling about what we were doing, and everybody thought was like, wow, that's cool. And you guys are going to travel where? And you're going to do what? That is awesome.
Well, here's the thing is we did the damn thing, right?
We did it.
And that's like, we stuck with it.
Everybody showed up.
And to your point, we've been consistent with this every 2 weeks on a Zoom call, and everybody showed up. And Tamron is going to come on, but he made the great comment of like, everybody was prepared. Nothing was winged, you know? It was super cool. But what we got in store tomorrow? You're taking us around your town, huh?
That's right. We're gonna do a Capitol tour, you know, and we're gonna go around DC. And I look forward to showing you guys my town, and super excited.
Yeah, and let's take this opportunity. Tell us what's going on at VI. We are so thankful for the support. The sponsorship, as everybody knows, allows us to put out the content. It allows us to be consistent with the editor that we have and all of that. And would it be possible if it wasn't for you supporting the show and allowing us to do that? So again, thank you for that. But what's going on with the updates? I know there's been a lot going on, and
I appreciate the partnership, and I appreciate you guys believing in me before, you know, anyone else did. And we're super excited. You know, the reality is that entry-level labor in the U.S. is now more difficult than ever. And one of my major shifts is understanding on how to delegate those low-level tasks that, you know, Shawn helped us understand in the meeting. And that is the key. That is the way to be able to, you know, get the freedom and the work-life balance that we all deserve, and, you know, lower the stress of our team by, you know, being able to find quality talent overseas that's looking for the opportunity, ready to work. And that's what we're here to do.
Love it. Love it. Well, what's the key of what we want to do is everyone we had here at the Mastermind today, we want to go around and say, what is the one key takeaway you had from the group today?
For me, I had a really good realization with Brad. Brad went over his hiring process, his onboarding process. It was so detailed. It made me realize like I really need to sit down and kind of map out the pre-onboarding, the onboarding, the actual training of a new person. And I'm super excited to go back on Monday and get back to work and create that amazing experience to onboard a new employee.
I'm with you. Yeah, having all your HR in one place seems super beneficial, especially as like I know where you're at in your business right now. You're trying to grow. You're trying to build a larger agency, and trying to keep all your onboarding checklists and everything inside of a Google Drive. It gets kind of messy, you know. So having it all in one place with the interview questions. Brad talked about being able to put it all in Ideal Traits, and it pushes it out to all the recruiting softwares too, which I thought was super interesting. So yeah, that's something I'm going to check out too for sure.
Awesome.
Mike, thanks for joining us. We're gonna move on to the next guy we got here because we got a dinner that you have reserved that I'm very excited for.
Yeah, and I'm hungry. So
there's a cocktail with that. My co-host wasn't allowing me to have a cocktail now, so we got to get to the dinner part. But Mike, thank you again for everything. We appreciate all the support with the podcast. Just real quick, it's so cool because you were just like an early supporter of us.
Yes.
Remember, just like under 10 episodes.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
You had the On Hands VAs that then turned into the partnership with the VI. On Hand VAs was sponsoring us before that journey. So like we've been through this whole journey together, which has been awesome. We appreciate the hell out of you, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it,
Likewise.
Thanks, Mike. The next guy is going to come on, Mr. Donald Shampine. You know this guy. There's no way you don't know this guy. Bring it in, Mr. Donald Shampine, everybody.
Go, Don.
And for reference, we're not going to get into the whole story because we're just going quick and to the point, but we had a fantastic episode on episode number 55 with Donald Shampine. But, Don, what's going on?
I thought you swore to never have me back.
Well, you were here, so you found
It
us.
would have been awkward otherwise. I got it. All right. All right.
What's going on? How's the weekend been?
It's been fantastic. I think that the longer you're in this industry, the more you start to appreciate the relationships you build, and the people matter. And being able to connect on a regular basis with this group has been fantastic. And then to actually get to sit down in person and kind of hash out, our stories and our goals and aspirations together just allows us to all grow in a personal and professional way. So it's been a great meeting.
So cool. So
Yeah. So, I mean, let's get into the question. What we're asking everyone is, what is the key takeaway you had at the meeting today?
I think the most important thing that I think that I could take away from this whole experience is that we can't forget that everyone has something to teach us. It doesn't matter how many years they've been in this industry, what experiences they have, what area in the industry they're working. There's something that we can learn if we're paying attention and willing to listen. And to actually broaden that, we also need to lean into the technology that we have, because every single time we bring up a technology that even we're using in our office, I learned something new about what we could be doing or not doing. So it's not always about buying and getting something new. It's about really paying attention to the technology you have so you can put it to its best use.
It's so cool. I know part of the reason you're saying that too is it's such a unique group because we have so many different stages, so many different backgrounds, so many different types of agencies, and like everybody brings a different flavor to the table. And for people who are listening to this, we just got done. It's 6 p.m. where we are, and we started meeting at 8 a.m. this morning, and we didn't stop besides walking downstairs in the building. We were to get sandwiches. I mean, we were back to back to back with learning from each other, and it was really cool. So, Don, thanks for all you've done, and thanks for jumping
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
on. Even though you found us. All right, everybody, let's jump into the next guest, Mr. Andrew Tuquilar, Next Level Insurance, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that blazer. Let's take a minute. Look at that blazer. Holy crap. And so Andrew,
I'm feeling out of place right now.
Andrew was the week before Don, episode 54, which seems like forever ago. But Andrew, what's going on?
Oh, man, having a great time here out in D.C. with our mastermind group. Just enjoying life. So,
Good stuff. What's your takeaway? What's been good this weekend?
Oh, man, there's so many different takeaways I could go down. But, I mean, the one thing for me, this group's special. I'm honored to just be here, be a part of this group, and be able to find a group of like-minded individuals that are like authentically, genuinely willing to help each other.
Yeah.
It's important. You guys I'm grateful to be able to call you guys friends. I've got a lot of different friends, but if I talk about insurance, talk about business, like they just don't get it like you guys do. So, I mean, my takeaway is, it's important to have little groups like this. This industry is just, it's generous, right? I mean, everyone's willing to help out. You just got to kind of ask, and it's special. So, I mean,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this group has definitely reminded me like why I like the industry so much. Like I got here yesterday, middle of the day. Me and Tamron hit the gym right away. We got a good workout in. Then we
Show
came
us.
back. We went. We came back. We went out to dinner. Everyone had a few drinks. Then we had our mastermind today, and we all learned a ton of information. You and I got to talk about kids. Like everyone just got to connect on their own level, and it was a really cool experience.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you guys make me better too. Like holding me accountable. We all hold each other accountable to everything.
Oh, yeah.
Our goals that we have. You know, we talked about our quarterly goals, right? Our annual goals, and we hold each other accountable to that. And I think that's extremely important.
Oh, yeah.
So,
What's one key takeaway Monday morning? What's one thing you sit back down at the desk Monday morning and it's like one key takeaway? One person said something, one key thing that you're like, I got to get honest now.
yeah. I mean, for me, Shawn, you crushed it with the playbooks. I mean, I'm in the process and I'm looking to hire my first producer. And I'm trying to be as prepared as possible for when they come on board. And Shawn's really mastered the art of playbooks and the formats and all that kind of stuff. So I want to be ready for when that day comes. And yeah, that's my goal, is to get those playbooks ready. So when I do hire a producer, it's going to be more plug and play, and I'm going to be well prepared. So
Nice.
And we learned this weekend, everybody, that there is such thing as a playbook to make a playbook by Shawn Fitzgerald. That is real. That is real. So if you've been listening to the episodes and didn't think that was maybe a thing, that's a thing.
Message me on Instagram at Sean P. Fitz, and I'll send it to you.
I was gonna love that. Yeah, DM on Instagram. Yeah, make sure you follow him first, so he won't reply to you. Right? Andrew, thanks so much, man.
appreciate it, fellas.
Thanks, man.
All right, who's next? How about this guy? He's the co-host of the Agents to Owners podcast, Mr. Brad Boldt. Hold your applause. And I was talking. There was a few of us that came in, Shawn, before you got here. Shawn took a little bit. He had a little charging problem with the electric vehicle that he rented. That's a whole nother story. I guess maybe we could do a whole episode on that. But I was talking with another individual at lunch who had not met this next guest, and I was describing. I have been lucky enough to meet this next guest twice, and we were talking. Oh, I've never met so and so. Like I wonder what he's like. Whatever. And I said, this next guest is the type of person that you go to an insurance conference and you're so tired and you're at the bar and it's 10, 11 o'clock and your eyes are closing and you want to go to bed, but you're like, I just want more of this guy. I just want to stay around. Give it up for Brad Boldt, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Brad Boldt, how we doing?
Thank you, Stephen, for being my number one fan.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Oh, forever. Episode 14, Brad. Episode 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was one of the OGs.
Really.
You're almost top 10.
14.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here in the flesh.
In the
I know.
flesh. For
Special.
real.
man.
Yeah.
No catfishes in the insurance mastermind. That's right. Talk to us about the podcast. How's that been?
It's on a hiatus right now, actually, at the ass.
Yeah.
Since you asked, yeah. I'll be coming back, but just been crazy busy.
Yeah. But you're in the 80s episode. Yeah.
86.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
No, it's been a lot of fun. So what's been up this weekend? What do you think? What's the biggest takeaway?
I'm blown away. The first thing that comes to mind is the strength of the group.
Mm.
And the drive to get better. I'm a person that I don't just say it. I feel like I live it. I want to be the best version of myself.
Mm.
But I know that accountability helps. And one of the things that we did at the end of our day-to-day was write down personal and for this quarter, personal and professional goals. All I need to do is write it down and say it in front of somebody else, and I'm jacked.
Yeah.
To
Oh,
get
yeah.
it done. 'Cause now I gotta do it.
I saw it in
I'm
your
not gonna
eyes.
fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might fail. But
You're not gonna
so that was that's special to me. And then just getting to know everybody here, and as Andrew alluded to, like-minded people and really good people. It's really been a special experience so far. If I could take one thing from our content today, first of all, everybody, it's been already said, but everybody just freaking brought it with their presentation.
For sure.
And we're not professional speakers and PowerPointers and all this other stuff. But
Only
what
Don.
the effort. Don was freaking magnificent.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Oh, he brought the
He's
heat.
got a
Yeah.
presence. But I was impressed with everybody. my number one takeaway, just because I'm building and tweaking, is my overall processes is Michael's learning management system.
Oh, so
I've
good.
seen it before, but he's continued to tweak it. He's added a chatbot to it. He's improved it. That was something that I'm looking forward to going back and refining that.
For sure.
Yeah. So that was my number one, is what I would say.
You know what's cool about what you touched on too, with there are a lot of us not meeting in person until now, or maybe just one-offs at conferences, is like the trust and the care we have for each other.
Yeah.
And it was at the end of, so kind of how we set it up. So everybody brought something to the table that they were good at, and everybody, spoke about that for about a 45-minute window, and we picked into it. But at the end of today, a few hours ago, we sat down and said, like, hey, what were the biggest takeaways? And Shawn brought to the table of like a business goal and a personal goal. And keep in mind that we meet regularly, right? So it's something we can follow up on. But the coolest part about that was the accountability piece, but also like the challenging of like, I don't really know if I like that. I don't really know if that's enough. And I was one of them. They were like, I'm like, well, I'm between these two business goals. And Tamron's like, how about both? I'm like, thanks, Tamron. Yeah, sure. I'll do both. No problem. But like tying that in, it just creates our relationship even stronger. And like, I was talking
100%.
with Andrew on the way to come to the room. And I'm like, how incredible that you get 8 people from different backgrounds. And it's the feeling of just like, everybody's here for the right intentions. Everybody's here to try to help each other. And like a year ago, we were all strangers, right? 2 years ago, whatever.
Yeah. Well, that trust thing that's real, and I felt that even more here this weekend. And
Yeah.
we've been meeting for a while, but still, I'm someone where I don't just allow anybody in, and I trust. And I think a lot of times as business owners, agency owners, you feel like you're out on an island.
Yeah.
Especially
It can be a lonely place.
Yeah. And then and I've always said, I'm very independent, and I don't know if I want a partner. I don't think I would, especially after all this. But to have other business owners that I trust, almost to act as like a board of directors, to say, what do you think about this? Because sometimes
good way to put it.
when you are detached, you can see it.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm objective, and a lot of times I am, but you're still in it. You're attached. When you're detached and you just explain it, and you're like, I was talking about one scenario earlier, and Tam was like, oh, you gotta let him go. Because it seemed obvious, right? But to me, it's not obvious.
And that's maybe something you had to hear at that time, right?
Yeah.
That you maybe didn't want to hear, or didn't have the realization to hear, or whatever.
Yeah, Fred didn't.
Tam
He's
really has a
having
right
rough
approach in
Friday,
that
but,
stuff too. Tam has a real right approach in that
Yeah,
stuff.
Tam's tough. Yeah, so yeah.
That's it.
Awesome.
Think of that as a mastermind group too. And we've been very specific. The dominate, which we should have gotten to with Don, but having the 8 people, think about the way that you just said that, hiring like a board of directors for each of our agencies. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Because
That's a good way to put it.
And you get that care. Like Taylor came from California, right? Across the country. We'll get into that story. We'll find out a little bit more. But like we all, young kids, whatever, parents, business owners, we all made the time to make this a priority to help each other. And the way that you just put it, like board of directors for agent, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, just made that.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know if everyone felt the same way, but it was a little uncomfortable sharing the personal goals, right? I felt a little, even though I was prepared for it, I was like, ooh, that felt a little weird to say out loud,
Yeah.
So, but I think that's all going to push us to, now we're all going to hold each other accountable to those goals on a bi-weekly basis.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
And we're not going to share them because it's individual to everybody. But the cool part was there was a reward, and Shawn brought that to the table for everything that we did. That added a little aspect, and it was very interesting. The amount of high achievers that I feel like I'm around. How many of you? It was so hard to find what you're.
Because
we don't reward ourselves.
So the idea was a personal goal and a business goal, and a reward for each. If I hit X, I want to do Y for myself. And I would say a lot of us were, and I'll say I was prepared because Shawn asked everybody to be prepared. And I was prepared. We'll just say that. But it was a struggle to say that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we're always just constantly thinking, what's the next thing? We're going to hit that goal. What's the next thing? What's the next thing?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that piece.
So good, Brad. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Brad.
Thank you.
Brad Boldt, everybody. Mr. Brad Boldt. The one and only. All the way from beautiful, sunny, expensive California, Mr. Taylor Garcia. the soon-to-be president of Jackson and Jackson Insurance.
What's going on, gents?
What's going on, TG?
Mastermind behind making this happen, because you all know at this point the fact that we're doing this in person has nothing to do with me. I told Shawn, you tell me where to sit, and everything will be plugged in, and then we'll just do our thing. What up, TG?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
I'm doing great.
I'm doing well. Have you slept in like 3 days yet or no?
Barely.
No.
You're not supposed to be here.
No, I really was not supposed
Yeah,
to.
tell us about that.
Do you want me to share?
Yep.
Steven's
Yes.
got a great
I
side of the story too.
Oh yeah, we tried not to let him come, and he showed up. There's the
No, I'll share. Yeah, no, my daughter was gonna have a procedure done, and it's the first time. She's only 6, so I was gonna be there, obviously, as dad, and we didn't really plan on going, and I was really bummed, but obviously, family comes first, and everybody here was so gracious to understand, and yeah. So then last minute, I leave church, and I'm coming home, ready to go to bed, and
What time?
it was about 9:30, and I walk in the door, and my suitcase is packed, and my camera bag's open, and my wife's like, "Oh, so we booked your hotel, we got you a flight. By the way, your flight's in 2 hours, so we got to leave like in 10 minutes." And I was like, wait. Whoa. I was like, no. They're in like a specific hotel. Like, no. And she's like, don't worry. I already talked to Steven. We figured it out. And I know this is important to you. It's important, she knows all the stuff that's going on with me taking over the agency. And like, it was a lot. So she's like, this is very important for you to do. You don't do a lot for yourself. So like, we got this. And I was like, and slept. Like, I was actually kind of looking forward to going to bed. She's like, sleep on the plane. You'll be fine. So it was a very special moment, and I was really excited. I was really hesitant at first, but obviously at the end of the day, I was really thankful for her to support me and everything, and then to be here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man. I think that was a big takeaway for me, because my trip here was a little stressful as well. But at the end of the day, Steven and I were talking about it. At the end of the day, how blessed are we to be able to travel here and be able to have the things we have and be able to be surrounded by the people we have. Be able to have the support system that you and I have, where our wives can stay home, take care of the kids, and we can go out and network and continue to help and grow the business. And that's a freaking beautiful thing,
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is the shock is, I think everybody kind of shared it, was like seeing everybody in person. Like how much do we talk and that we just have
your first time.
Yeah,
right?
crazy. It doesn't even make sense.
And it just,
But when we saw each other, we gave each other a hug, and it's like we've known each other for 5 years, which we have. So
Yeah.
So,
It's like they let go of each other. It's a little weird. He's gonna kind of go over here.
get a room.
So how's it been, TG?
It's been great, man. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, because I think everybody was spot on, was that this group's special. And, coming on, I was a little hesitant at first because I wasn't fully an agency owner yet. I've family agency. I'm in the process, and there was a little bit of a rocky road for a minute, but everybody's been so supportive, coaching me through it. That board of directors comment Brad said was fixed.
That's gold, Brad.
Because
So good.
any struggle I had through this process, Mike came with great advice. Like, everybody came through with support and advice.
Yeah.
And so just this group has been phenomenal. And
What's one takeaway?
yeah. I think there were so many, and I think everybody kind of struggles with picking a one thing. I think I resonated a lot with Don. I'm heavily into the commercial space, and so Don's presentation and talking about, here's your list of things that you need, and if the client doesn't need it, or if the client doesn't provide this, then you walk away or move on.
qualifying them.
Yeah, because I am guilty of not always qualifying and kind of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, and Don just kind of like reassured it, and there's just so much there, but the niches and everything else, and it just really resonated with me, because that's kind of where I'm going with it. I go heavy commercial, so I've always been. So, but everybody had such good things to say.
Yeah.
I learned. My notes are 5 pages long.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude, one quick thing about Brad and Don. They probably have 10 years of experience on me in the industry, and I've been in the industry almost 14 years.
Yeah.
And these two came
14 years.
ready to go. What? Come on now. I'm middle-aged, okay? So, no, these two came ready to go. Brad was downstairs hitting the gym yesterday. Don was out getting it. His presentation, oh my God, he was fired up. He brought a lot of energy. You could tell he spoke before. Honestly, it was super motivating to see the both of you just getting after it. And it's like, that's where I want to be when I'm that age,
100%.
Not that you guys are old. Sorry.
Like a combination of Don and
There you go.
that's actually my personal goal. I got 90 days to do it, so here we go.
Yeah, absolutely those.
No, but you guys inspired me this weekend, for real.
That's awesome.
100%.
TG, shout out to you. Taylor is here, so we'll just screenshot this because he's been taking all the photos. He's been behind the lens the whole weekend, but took some nice pictures and recorded the presentation and everything like that. So, thanks for being behind the lens.
Thanks, man.
And it's my
Good meeting you.
Yeah, likewise. And everybody. I mean, like you said, it's like one big family almost. I mean, it was just like so natural, and everybody brought it today. And it's just so awesome to be a part of this.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Spoiler: next year we're gonna go to Maine in February, so it's gonna be a culture shock for you. But bring a coat.
I didn't think you could get much further than
DC,
but Cali, but okay. Yeah. All right, I'll be there.
Probably bring 2 coats. Yep, that'll be good. TG, everybody, real quick before I forget, episode 5. This guy's a popular guy. Episode 5, episode 50, and episode 67. One of those was a shared episode with Mike Crowley where we talked about the family stuff.
Yeah, that was
really good.
That was good.
That hit a lot of people, including myself, and that was really good. So, everyone, give it up for Mr. Taylor Garcia.
Woo! Guys.
All right, the last gentleman we have here is from episode 33, and he is as tall as you think he is in person, ladies and gentlemen. Tamron Manning in the house from Integrity. Not Manning. What's going on? Clap it up. What's going on?
Not much, guys. What's up with you guys?
Yeah, man. It was a good day, right?
It was a great day. This is weird for me because, like I said, I'm the, I guess, youngest as far as like how long you've been in the industry. So I spoke about that during our meeting, and I feel like I've just been a sponge to everybody, like asking questions, listening. You got people like you said, Don and Brad, that've been in the industry. Not to knock them, but almost longer than I've been alive.
Seasoned.
So it's just, I mean, it's just a blessing to get to learn from those guys. I mean, not a lot of people are in my position to get to pick the brain of Don and somebody like Brad or Mike, or just you two, obviously. So it's just awesome. So I'm just blessed, man. I'm grateful for you guys.
Thanks, man. What was the key takeaway?
Wow. Key takeaway from me came from everybody. So it wasn't one person's presentation, but it was just the professionalism that you got to provide and that you got to bring every day. Mike talking about the business operations. I similarly want to build my business as a business and not a insurance agency. I want to have a business. So we have an LMS, we have systems, processes, procedures, and it's pretty seamless. So I took a lot from him. Don teaching about commercial stuff as I grow my book. Commercials kind of where I want to go into to grow my book a little bit quicker. So I just took stuff from everybody, man. Everybody's just so great and smart. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, dude, what's good about that too that you touched on is you said being a sponge in the beginning, right? Yeah. And I think one of the big things, if we're all trying to take it to the next level, we all have to be coachable on some level. Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
so
you gotta be coachable, and you gotta be willing to like take that information and actually apply it. So I could
take action.
Everybody's stuff and go home and do the exact same things I've been doing, and it would have been a waste. So what I have to do now, to speak to your coachable point, is just take what you guys said, take little bits and pieces, and actually implement what I can implement. I think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I think is important too to mention for that, and I want to get into when we wrap it up, personally why I think it's so important that we're doing this episode right now. But one point to piggyback off of you is you got to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right. You got to share. We meet every Tuesday or every 2 weeks. I think it's a Tuesday. Maybe that's right. We meet every 2 weeks and we share the wins. We share the losses. We share where we are, what our financial goals are, where we're at, and where we think we need to be, and the experiences. And I mean, you have to be vulnerable and open up and say, this is what I think you have to accept that it's probably going to happen at some point to say, this is what I think I'm going to do. And everybody say, no, it's a terrible idea in a very plain and direct way. About bringing on my CSR. I'm going to wait till she licensed. No, like that. Everybody in the group was like, red flag. Why? Because of the experiences And that's what's so incredible. But you have to be willing to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. And that comes with the trust, and that comes with everything else. But I think that was the coolest part. Like, again, not to talk too much about it, but bringing in the personal goals, like bringing in the aspects, it gets us all closer, understanding what we're really trying to do with our life, what type of impact we're trying to make on our families, for our wives, for whatever it is. And I think that's such a huge part, because if you try to stay in that shell, right, and maybe try to act like something that you're not about, I don't know, I don't want to share this, I don't want to share that, all you're doing is a disservice to yourself. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because you're being a recluse, and I think I talked about that a little bit in my presentation. Is about being out there, being vulnerable. Like you said, taking coaching and all that. And I do want to mention the discipline that everybody has in their own kind of right. Like, for instance, Shawn's just easier to speak about, but like you said, he came in. We got a quick workout in. He woke us up this morning.
Over here.
He woke us up this morning at 5 a.m. to get a walk in. It's just stuff like that you're seeing. Like, he does that on a normal basis. So you got to take certain stuff like that. And he's a great business owner, a great leader. So if I want to be like that, you just got to take different stuff from everybody. And I think everybody does a really good job.
Appreciate that, man.
Cool. What's one thing Monday morning?
One thing Monday morning. I'm going to start the process of creating a learning management system. Kudos to Mr. Mike Cruz.
Love that.
Got everything together, doesn't he? Like, is he making this stuff up, or has he got the answers? Yeah, it all down. That's awesome. Well, Tam, thanks for being here, my man.
Of course, man. Appreciate you.
This happened. Mr. Tamron Manning, everybody, Integrity Insurance. All right, Mr. Fitzgerald in the hot seat.
Key takeaway from me was
the gas vehicle when you're driving down.
Not the smartest move when you got to drive 320 miles. I'll be honest with you. Apparently, if you have an EV and it's not a Tesla, you can't charge it at every station. So, lesson learned. My key takeaway was Michael Cruz's presentation, where he touched on the quoting process specifically. And it's funny because throughout his process, I had most of the items you had with the quoter. But the thing I was missing is a designated person to do the gathering of the information. And I think, especially on the personalized side, I think that's an easier thing to implement, right? So the information gatherer, but also having the scripts for those people. I have all my playbooks, I have the videos, the course, all that stuff, but I do not have scripts for certain scenarios, and that's something I definitely need to implement, and the one thing I want to take away. Also, too, just everyone touched on it. Amazing group of people. I'm going to mention it again. The workout with Tamron, we left that gym fired up, like ready to take over Maryland. Honestly, it was Maryland, Virginia, wherever we are. It was a freaking great time. So it was awesome being able to connect with everyone. I'm stoked for dinner tonight, and that's my key takeaway.
It's incredible. It's incredible. My key takeaway, all of it, but I can't answer that because I've asked everybody else to be specific. So I'll follow my own rules here. I think from Tamron's presentation, he talked about the referral relationships and like building those referrals, and like my man's got that down to a science.
Yeah, he does.
Like, he's got that dialed in. And I'm like, with the community side, I'm like, oh yeah, I got referral partners. And like, yeah, okay. Yeah, he's got it dialed in. So like I took so many notes during that. And there's so many action items of just, I think my number one thing Monday morning is creating what I want that partnership to look like and how to present it, and taking Taylor's playbook by doing that, to be more intentional with establishing what we want the relationship to be like, whether that's a commercial referral partner or a mortgage lender or a real estate agent. And the biggest takeaway from that was how you want to make them look like a rock star.
Yeah.
Tamron talks so much about like walking into those offices, not like, well, we want your referrals, so that's going to grow my business and I need business from you or whatever. And like, our job is to make you look like a rock star for your clients, so that they can say, oh wow, Susie the mortgage lender referred it to Tamron, and Tamron was a rock star. Now I got a great relationship with a great insurance agent, and that came from that referral. So that was incredible.
And he has a pipeline, an agency Zoom for referral partners specifically. That's with automation built into it. That's a game changer right there.
So good. 100 episodes. First one in person. Probably not the last.
Crazy.
It's been a hell of a journey.
It has been.
It's been a fun weekend, everybody. It's been a fun weekend. We'll end this by just one thing. I want to challenge everybody, and Tamron's going to probably laugh at me in the back because I've been challenging everybody. But I want to challenge everybody who's listening to this. Start with one person, right? This mastermind that we're here started with two people connecting. Start with one person and take initiative to make your own mastermind and create your own circle. And, you know, there's been people that have come in and out of it for different reasons as we've come, but we've got a good solid group. And like we've all talked about, the trust and all that, but it is so powerful. We talk about all the investing that you do in yourself with your coaching and all that. I'm going to now take off of what Brad said. Invest in creating your board of directors. Invest in creating your board of directors. Start with one person. Start with person number 2. Start with person number 3. Meet up, do whatever it is, and make those relationships. Be vulnerable and just take the initiative to do that. If you're looking at this and saying, man, that's cool. These 8 guys took time out of their schedule. They took money out of their pockets to make that trip happen. And most of us will be here for 3 nights, whatever it is, to be together, to learn together. That's a cool thing they want to do. Then do it. Yeah. Do it. And make that be one person, make that be 2 people, whatever that is. But for me, that's the purpose behind what we're doing, recording this with everybody to show what we're doing, is because I was talking to Brad on the way home. We walked from the meeting, but poor guy got an earful, because this has just meant so much more to me than these relationships, right? It's the support. It's the as having one virtual employee. I just hired my second employee who's in the office, but like these gentlemen here have become my team, right? Sure. On the bad days and the good days. And like, that's my biggest takeaway for you all, is to just like find that circle. And it's your responsibility to find that circle. Right. And I think that's the most important thing and the takeaway for me.
100%.
What do you think to wrap this puppy up?
Let's do it. Let's go to dinner, man. I'm hungry.
Going to dinner. Where are we going? Earl's and Tyson Square. I can tell you, I still got the meat sweats from last night. We went to some Brazilian steakhouse. Like, yeah, and let me see, Mr. Brad Boldt's got carpal tunnel in his wrist over here. He was just changing that yes and no thing up and down so many times. Yeah, one more. Oh, I'm all saying half a cow on his plate by the time we're done, but that's all right. Everybody, that's another episode of the Scratch Agency Podcast, episode 100. Thank you all so much for the journey. Thanks for joining us. Do us a favor, like the show, share the show, and subscribe. But most importantly, remember to dig down, believe in yourself, and own your own future. We'll see you next week. Take care.